Whew, hey y'all, it's 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and we're the Reformers on live. Got a lot to chat about. How's everybody doing tonight?
Woohoo!
Doing
Oh
well.
no, I got an error message. Streaming to your destination problem. Oh, it looks
Oh,
like
well, that's how well we're doing.
it
It's
looks
like
like
we've already gotten an
Substack
error
is.
message. We're
Off
like
to a
2
great
minutes
start.
in.
I'm gonna look at Substack real quick because
It's
I
going
think.
super well. I
Error.
just I just saw that there's another recall. And now I'm
Not
like, I don't
another.
even know what it is. Like it's been like 20 minutes since I saw it and my brain has lost what it is. So when we get to that section in the live, I'll tell you. But I was just thinking there's not much left. Like, oh, it's sourdough bread
Oh
from Whole
yeah, oh,
Foods.
with I with thought it like was the glass in it blueberries. or
Blueberries
something.
as well.
Okay,
That
is there a
too.
brand to the sourdough bread?
Yeah, it look they showed Whole
Yeah.
Foods. So I didn't click on the link because I didn't know whose link that was. Anyway, I was going to go look it up myself before we got to that segment and so I'll share it, but
Okay.
basically it's like the Wild Wild West. You're like on your own. You need to be googling where
And
everything that you're
chicken,
eating comes from. Like,
chicken, chicken is also
yeah,
recalled.
figure
Eggs.
out
Oh, I did a
where you're
post
getting your food.
earlier and there was a video, but it was missing a whole bunch of shit. So I listed like all the stuff. I did some
Yeah,
research on
yeah.
the stuff that was recalled. It's a hot mess. Um,
I think what would be helpful at this juncture is if you are really good at this kind of thing and you like doing this, when you go to research it for yourself, if you go to your social media and say, I have looked and these foods are safe, this is what I eat. So I went to go check to see, because I think that that's actually helpful for people to be like, oh, I do eat those blueberries. I'm good. Or, like whatever. Now you have to trust the person, obviously. But I think for some people who, have done this for a long time and know how to do research, it's a safe bet that they know how to look up where their food is or who's distributing their foods. Anyway, so we'll talk about that, but I'm just
yeah.
thinking about how challenging this is for everybody with everything else that's going on.
Seriously.
Okay. So sad news. Was it over? I think it was over the weekend that we found out that Hayden
Yes.
Panettiere passed away.
Yeah.
And it's sounding like it was a cardiac arrest from overdose. But I didn't. I heard there's another investigation going on, so I don't know. But what we wanted to talk about, there's an online backlash on Neutrogena, but I'm going to play a video on why. So I think this is just something to highlight.
Facing a widespread online boycott. After learning of the tragic news that Hayden Panettiere had passed away at the age of 36, fans discovered what Neutrogena had done following her death. In 2014, after giving birth to her daughter Kaya, Hayden had been struggling with postpartum depression. In 2015, while appearing on a taping of Time's The Kelly and Michael Live show, the topic came up unexpectedly, so she decided to be candid about her situation at the time. According to Hayden, she later received a phone call informing her that Neutrogena intended to fire her because she had spoken openly about postpartum depression. According to reports, her agent objected, so she remained with the company that year. However, Hayden stated that she knew the relationship was essentially over. The following year, she was not invited back. A 10-year partnership came to an abrupt end. Hayden had once been one of Neutrogena's most iconic brand ambassadors. Now, people are flooding Neutrogena's social media comment sections with harsh criticism. Women's products are marketed to empower women, but the moment a woman's experience isn't positive enough, isn't appropriate enough, or doesn't serve as a selling point, it instantly becomes a problem. Hayden later made it clear that she doesn't regret speaking out even though she shouldn't have. This situation clearly demonstrates that it is crucial both now and in the past for women to speak openly about postpartum depression.
What do y'all? First of all, do we know if that's accurate? Like how accurate that is?
About the Neutrogena campaign?
Yeah, about them.
I mean, I don't think anybody can prove it, but I do think that the way they acted afterwards and how they've released their statement is rather suspicious and
I don't feel like
indicative of it. I don't think I've seen anything that disputes it. And I think that people forget how new in the world of postpartum depression we really are in terms of the conversations around that. I think it's a hot topic issue right now because of the Lindsay Clancy trial, and everyone's following.
Yes.
Well, not everyone, but all women. I think most women are following that trial. And I think that, now it feels safer than it did probably 5 or 10 years ago to talk about something like this. And so Neutrogena, like many of these other weak-minded corporations, they don't want to take a public stance on anything because it can result in loss of profits and their shareholders don't like it. So this is also why people who are political content creators often don't do brand deals, because there are not companies don't want to go on the record with controversial issues. So unfortunately, postpartum depression was seen as a controversial issue, and therefore they wanted to divorce themselves from it. And I think it's vile. And I think that it's great that people are having that response to it. I think that they did finally, I think it was today that they finally issued a statement. Was it today, Chris Quinn? Yeah, I think it was today. And so it's on Instagram, and it's just basically like your typical, like, we're so sorry, we worked with, we're sad about her death, we worked with her for a long time. And then at the last pages, out of respect for Hayden's family and loved ones, we did not want to speak out so soon following her passing. Everyone at Neutrogena extends their deepest condolences to Hayden's family and all who loved her. So it was like, oh, the reason we waited so many days.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're not denying it. What you're seeing on the screen right now, people are like not messing around. They're showing all the brands that Neutrogena owns. So like they want you to like boycott all of these brands.
Wow.
And a lot of times that's what happens. We don't know who owns who, but I bet you a lot of us use a lot of these household items. I need to know more before I'm like boycotting these things. But I think I think the reason why I brought this up is because postpartum is like kind of like a backroom issue that it really shouldn't be. It's a very viable, very it happens to women and it shouldn't be shamed. And I felt like that's how it was coming across, is like they were trying to shame her or tell her she shouldn't speak about it. And I think you should speak about it because a lot of women experience it and it helps them to hear.
Well, there's a misconception that it's not prevalent, and in fact it's way more prevalent than people realize. And so I think back then Neutrogena was thinking, oh, this is just like kind of an outlier situation, and it's not cohesive with our brand, when in reality it's actually very connected to your brand and many of the other side brands that you have. Like, I just saw that you have OBE, like those are tampons. Like, what do you fucking mean? Like, you don't have stake in this conversation? That's crazy. I'm offended by this personally.
I saw Stay Free on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's
so
another
ridiculous.
Here's another little clip too. This is what people are posting. So I mean, yeah. I don't know how it's affect Neutrogena's dollars, but
yeah, I haven't looked yet, but I'm so serious when I tell you that the people are coming out for Lindsay Clancy in support of her in a huge way. And it's really impacting women. I think men don't quite understand or relate because they don't go through similar experiences. But I think it's really hit women hard, and consequently, these types of situations that are related, that are directly related, they're going to start feeling the wrath of women in a way that they haven't before, because people are connected online now in a way that they weren't before. And they're empowered that way to use their power. I mean, we saw what happened with Target and how impactful that boycott was. We've seen that when it happens organically, when it's fueled that way, that those are the most successful ones. And this is like a very emotional moment for women, especially with what's going on in this administration and all of our rights and freedoms and autonomies being taken. It's, something like this happens, and like you cut alliances. What loyalty do you have to big corporations in late stage capitalism? Because I don't have any.
I'll say we don't have children, and so this was definitely not on my radar. And just people posting stories about their own experiences, and just the reading about it in the past week or so has taught me a great deal. And I would imagine that has been helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. President Sins. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Melina.
I was just going to say, there's so much like taboo about many women's issues, like from talking about our periods to talking about pregnancy to talking about menopause. And it's time to stop that shit, because women are more than half of the population, and we deserve to be able to talk about our issues in the public square openly and honestly.
Yeah. So all the president's sins, where do we start here? So this was getting a lot of a lot of. It's kind of hard to stomach this actually.
This will look so beautiful. If you remember, it had big sunken areas in here, and it was pretty bad. It was in bad shape. But this grass was the highest quality. It was given free of charge by Scott's Miracle Grow. Scott's, and Scott's is a great company. They actually contributed to my campaign.
I mean,
Well,
that
there's
sounded
another
like
one
a
to
clip from
boycott.
an infomercial.
That's helpful. Keep
Yeah, he's
going.
straight up doing ads.
Yeah.
An advertisement straight from, it's like right out of Idiocracy with the Gatorade type product that was like watering all of their grass and all of their crops. It's just insanity.
It is madness. It's absolute madness.
Sponsored by Carl Jr.
All right, here's another clip.
President Trump today summoned reporters to check out his new White House helipad.
Nice job, fellas.
The president placing gold coins on the granite
And these will go like that.
and signing a slab engraved with his name.
This pissed me off because this means this is going to be here. I mean, I'm not going to say in perpetuity, but it's going to be here a minute. And I mean, I don't know what we're going to do.
It's pretty good.
He says the helipad will be more than just a place for his helicopter to land.
They can have people go there for cocktails and then walk to the ballroom.
And so it went for nearly 40 minutes. The president showing off White House renovations, which the Washington Post reports will cost more than $900 million. Unclear how much of that coming from taxpayers.
This is going to look incredible from the air and from every place.
He brushed off questions about whether peace talks with Iran will resume.
Maybe at some point, but right now, I think the situation is so good.
Here at the White House, the president said that he would meet by the end of the year with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Now, there is no indication as to when or where that meeting would happen, and no indication, no confirmation from the North Koreans about the meeting either.
Maybe he'll go there and they'll kidnap him. I actually wouldn't mind that. That seems like that would be fun. Then maybe we just forget about him. Like I feel like we have a really short attention span here. People could really just
we need
move
to
on
treat
with their lives.
all of these projects like they did in ancient empires when they had a bad ruler, where they just eliminated every mention of the person.
Yeah.
Everything just gets eliminated.
That's
We're
what I was gonna
spending like
ask.
$1 billion on his bullshit.
Right.
With our do we just tear it all down?
I think we
Yeah.
do. Like I think we
Can't we just like
crowdfund or
put
something.
somebody else's name on it or something? Or
This
I
is
don't
what
know.
I'm concerned about. And I really think we all need to start talking about this now and getting on the same page. Because I will not have the one asshole in the periphery of the circle that's like, wow, but we spent all this money. Like, fuck you, Jim. We're getting rid of it. Like we all need to be on the same page that I don't care how much it costs. I don't want to see his name. I don't want to see his signature. I don't want to see his profile. I don't want to see his ugly ass hair. I don't want to remember that this man existed. I want to trauma block this entire experience away from my brain. And the only way to do that is to get rid of all of this. Burn it and dance on the ashes. Ready to do that. I think we all need to get together and unify behind that. That should be the next project for this country. That's how we heal. We
I don't wanna
unify
see-
behind that.
I don't want to see anything gold for the rest
Yeah.
of my
Oh
life.
my God.
Oh
no.
God, yeah.
He's ruined grass. He's
I mean,
ruined
I
grass.
think we volunteer to take care of the Oval Office and then
Yeah.
the Presidential Walk of Fame or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yes.
Like, that's easy.
We
work.
need
We
to
get that done.
impeach his ass before any of it's done. Like
Yeah.
as soon as we take over Congress in January,
Yeah.
get his ass
it.
out. Just impeach him.
Listen,
But that's going to
Milena
require a lot
is
of
right.
volunteering.
Because
So,
you're
get
on
it.
to something, Milena. Because if we do that, he's going to be angry and he's going to do that late night tweeting anger thing that he does. And then maybe he'll have a heart
I
attack.
don't know about his heart. Yeah, I was gonna say his.
That's what I'm
poor heart
saying.
is
Like,
not-
and then maybe that'll do it. So like, it's all just in aid of something. I feel like, it's like,
I
yes,
mean,
it'll be
Alright.
He's
cathartic.
got a bandage on his hand. If you blow up the pictures from that
Yeah.
clip that you had, you can still see it. So they're like injecting him with LASIK or whatever they do to
At
make
some
him.
point, I
keep
feel like he's
going.
going to run out of options. Like,
Well,
certainly veins, because you do run out of veins at some point. Right? Like, that's a thing. But
here's
also, the
ahead.
medicines don't last. They're like most protocols are like 12 to 16 months or 12 to 24 months or like what, like at some point your body, I mean, I don't know, I speak for myself of chronic illness. Your body kind of is like, this isn't working anymore, and then you got to kind of mix things up. And I feel like if he's on these like really high powered like Didn't he get one that's off? We don't know for sure, but isn't he the one person that was given that drug that's in clinical trials?
That's what we heard.
That
but
that's
that
the
only
rumor.
lasts.
Yeah.
I think you can only use. I feel like he's run out by now because
He
I
would
think
be
that only
running
works
out
for a
right now.
year.
It's like the 16-month.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6.
But-
Yeah,
but
16 months.
What do these drugs do?
I think that they help with the cognition and the effects of like Alzheimer's or dementia that's related to like health conditions and stuff like that you would have, like the brain fog and the
They're
that kind of
not
stuff.
working. They're not working.
Well, I think this is him medicated, Susan. That's how bad it is now. This,
All right,
is,
so
this is the medicated version.
Here's kind of a recap of some corruption. I think let's watch this clip. Oh wait, did I turn it down?
Corruption in politics is a problem. They say politicians are enriching themselves, building systems that benefit the wealthy and powerful while ignoring the problems of regular people. NPR's Mara Eliason has more.
The main thing that's contributing right now is Donald Trump. He has increased his net worth by making investments in companies with business before the government at a level never seen before, as much as $2 billion in the last year. And just to give you a few examples, he bought stock in Paramount and Warner Brothers while his Justice Department was considering whether or not to approve their merger. He bought stock in Palantir, and then he praised the company publicly, including in a social media post that listed Palantir's stock ticker.
So, I mean, the corruption is. I think all the Republicans are accomplices. All the Republicans in
100%.
100%. They could be doing more. All right. So, did y'all hear this week? I mean, he does this all the time.
Just scale back on those.
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back on those military exercises. Mr. President, is there...
So it's amazing to me that the reporters continue talking, but no one defends these people.
No.
I mean, first of all, I would flip the table if he talked to me. I'd be like,
I'm
out,
saying.
you know.
It's not only what he says; it's the facial expression. He has a
Oh my
smirk.
God.
He
It's
enjoys
content.
it. He enjoys being cruel.
Yes.
Mhm. In
And
front
why
of
don't
people.
they just all walk out when he gets like that?
It's even more than that. I think it's the contempt that he's being challenged by a woman and he's very
Yes.
threatened by women.
Yes.
And I think when you challenge him, he takes that as a personal attack. And he's like, that's the insecurity, that's the fragility of a narcissist, and you're not centering the world around him, and that's a real problem. And you can see the anger and the contempt, and even though he tries to mask it, right, like even though he like tries to like play it off, or you know what, you can see that it's really there. This is not a safe man. Like he's a personality and he's a figure, but we've seen this before with celebrities who exist among us, and then you find out that they are the most vile people behind closed doors. This is that kind of man. He's not a safe person. And at some point, when they finally do release all of the Epstein files, we're gonna see to what extent that's true. And
I mean, what's already out is so atrocious and so
Right.
despicable. I mean,
Right.
it's absurd. And the fact that the media isn't on this like on the daily is insane. And the fact that these reporters can just like bite their tongue, they're saints, because I would have gone off so hardcore if he would have said that to me. I would have definitely been fired.
I
That's for
waffle
sure.
on like, are they super strong or are they weak? Because
I think it's that they're
I'd be
weak,
like-
but they're weak because they're afraid to lose a job. But they
Yeah.
use the justification of that people use this all the time, which is, well, if you're gone, then no one will be there to tell the story, and you're like the last vestige
Or to
between the
give him
people and the
oxygen.
White House, right? And it's like that's what they tell themselves to keep themselves in this current state, which is basically just him being the puppet master, getting to do whatever he wants. So it's like you're really not doing much for us at this point. You're not helping us achieve anything. It would be better if you all had a revolt on camera and had him escalate to the point where people went, whoa, like that's too much. And I think that there is a point where he could do that. I think that there have been points where he's had to walk back on things, or they've had to use things to deflect. There have been points where people were like, I don't like that. And I can't remember them right now because I trauma blocked them, but I know they're in my screenshots.
Well, just for example, some of his tweets, like the tweets about the Obamas
that's a good one. Yeah, that's a great one.
But I think part of it is that I feel like our press corps, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, they're not quite smart enough. Like they could, if they were smart enough, they could manipulate him into just going off and going crazy. But none of them are quite good enough to do that.
They're chosen by them on purpose for the Project 2025. But also remember that these are people who work for corporate entities, and the corporate entities want a certain type of person that's not going to push back too hard, because they also don't want something that's too controversial. It's a Neutrogena thing all over again, but in press form. And so this is
you guys mentioned Epstein files, so I don't know if you saw this clip.
Oh, these young, beautiful girls. These young, beautiful girls. These young, beautiful girls in the White House. You know, they come in. Now, I'm not supposed to say beautiful, but what the hell? These young, these gorgeous, beautiful girls.
I thought that was so creepy. I just think, like, first of all, even if you think it, the way he kept saying it on repeat. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
And that was the second worst thing about that event, because the worst thing was the cheering behind him, which was just straight up a Nazi rally.
So gross.
They're all like that. It's really hard, but I have to remind myself that people can disconnect. People are able to do that kind of disconnection. People are able to be friends with people that are terrible and still think they're terrible. It's a weird thing that people can do. I am too neurodivergent for that. I'm too autistic for that. I can't. But other people can, and I don't understand it.
All right, so we're going to move along to Natalie Harp. Also, I like to call her his diaper nurse, or you could call her his binky. But this has been like trending all week. She has been trending all week for a lot of reasons. What's the latest? What are you guys hearing?
The latest is that KK Carolyn Levitt is one of the people that dropped the news or pushed the news out. And that there is a video we did see last week of a very kind of tense conversation between what looks like her and Natalie Harp on Marine One around the time of the decoy plane situation. I think it was like the day before she quit or something. And I think that there's a real indication that KK Carolyn Levitt was upset that Trump chose her.
Yeah. I said that last week.
Yeah.
And
so I think this is not surprising. This is not surprising to me at all.
Well, that was debunked because Carolyn Levitt was still on maternity leave at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was not true.
Oh, it wasn't?
She was not part of that trip. No, because she was still out at the time.
Of the decoy plane?
I thought she was.
Oh, no, she was on it.
Yeah.
She was on it. She was back by then.
Yeah, she was. She
the
already
pictures show her on it.
Maybe she wouldn't fit in a food cart.
Well, that's true.
I don't think she was invited.
So the other thing that happened today is that they brought Melania out. And let me tell you, I didn't actually have.
Did you hear she said, I heard you missed me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I didn't really have any concerns about it. But the fact that they rallied Melania for this, I'm like, oh, maybe there is something going on because you've brought her out. And that screams PR crisis.
It's definitely weird.
Right? It's concerning. I did also see, and I don't know if I knew this before, but it didn't feel like a surprise to me that it took her over a year to get her security clearance.
Yes.
She kept having to delay things, and finally he was the one that had to push it through. That's not surprising. I could not tell you how unsurprised I was by that, but I did see that as well. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else besides the fact that it's a real security issue that we have somebody so close to the president who, as we saw from this week, her brother was on Aaron Burnett out front saying that she was raised, she went to Liberty University, that should tell you enough, but she was raised by their mom on American exceptionalism, right? And that she is so obsessed with Trump, like not in a physical attraction way, but like in a fatal attraction way, maybe, I don't know, mental health obsession. And that she's like estranged herself from her family and her friends, and all she does is like
Hide your
live,
bunny
sleep,
rabbits.
eat, breathe. Yeah, right.
Speaking of
I'm
fatal
hoping for a
attraction.
misery situation personally, but I love Kathy Bates. So she at one point in the interview, they said that there was no seats in the motorcade, and so she just dove into the trunk so she could stay near Trump. And then yesterday or today, what is time? The Washington Post shared her running, trying to catch the golf cart because she couldn't fit it. So she's like just running alongside a golf cart. Like, it's just wild behavior. And then the notes, of course, are very like, did you have the graphic of the notes that she wrote?
I don't, but I have that little clip where he's dictating.
Yeah,
like the story
I can't.
that went with this was that she's writing a lot of his Truth Social posts.
She is.
Which
And
is kind of
here's some of the
believable,
stuff
so.
that she said, by the way. You are all that matters. These are direct quotes from the letters. You are all that matters to me. I don't want to ever let you down. Thank you for being my guardian and protector in this life. I want to bring you joy, to feel like we can get through a day without ever having to talk work. You're the alpha and the omega, to be all and end all. What would I be without you? I want to get back to that synergy where we talk about everything and nothing. There's more, but I can't. Like, that's actually what makes me want to vomit.
Here's the thing too, like it occurred to me, and I don't think I'm the only one that thought this, is like, she's the reason why he thinks he's doing so well. She's the reason why he thinks
He's the
his
filter.
polls are great.
100%.
The reason why everyone loves him, and why the economy is doing just fine, and people don't care about, groceries and shit, because she's feeding him that crap. And it's just
like a reverse cult leader. Do you know what I'm saying? It's it's so she's the
she's
weird dynamic.
the leader there.
That,
so a lot of people are comparing it to
she looks just like Ivanka. I can't get over it. I put that in my video today. I'm like, it's like the same. I have face blindness though, to be fair. So it does, like, that's like the same person to me.
I can't say this, but for sure, but what you just said, what she wrote, sounds like she's in love with him.
It does.
I think so. It's not normal. It's not
normal, and there's no boundaries, and professionalism is out the window. And this is not an elected position, number one. And there's nobody checking, like, clearly there's so much enabling happening in this, as you can see from that room. The reality has left the room. So they're not dealing with actual reality. They've constructed one that they like. And so nobody is creating any sort of consequences or checks and balances. Nobody's doing that. They're just allowing this to manifest. Although now there is some talk that there's concerns about her, like that. It's only when people, I think, are being threatened, or their jobs are being threatened, or their own security or safety, like whatever, right? Like when there's egos that go to blows. Otherwise, she could just continue doing this, continue writing tweets, and, by the way, advising him on foreign policy. Like, at what point is this a liability as well? Because she knows things about him, intimate things, especially if she is doing what we think she's doing, carrying around that bag full of diapers or like whatever is necessary.
Oh, I swear this video went viral, and everyone's like, what is going on with his ass? His diaper's full. Like, I'm telling y'all. That's what it is.
Well, it could be a catheter. It could be a catheter, like an external catheter. My grandmother had to have one of those. So
and
that's
he carries it on his backside.
It looks like a shelf like that. That's so weird. I didn't think they were like that.
There's been other photos of, he has like a square on his thigh. I think that's the catheter bag. I think this is his shit. I think I'm sorry to brush y'all back. Yeah.
But do you see why this is a concern for like security purposes? Because then she knows, she's privy to all this information. Like, what's to stop someone from blackmailing him, or her selling that information, or like, nobody should be this close to the president and not have like either a position that's dictated by the Constitution or a way for the public to understand. Like, she's just some random person they've made up a position for. That's crazy.
Casey, he's like buddy with the leader of North Korea. I mean, we are in cuckoo land.
Who's gonna blackmail us? They're all friends. Like,
In any other administration, that person would be the chief of staff.
Right. That's right.
Any other administration, the chief of staff is the gatekeeper. And in any other administration, that person normally is someone that is older, experienced, and a serious person. This is not a serious person.
This is not a serious person. I wonder, could we maybe like start to pit her against Stephen Miller somehow? Because he seems like he's got a fragile ego, and that might bother him at some point. Yeah.
I think he made it on the
do
escape
it.
plane.
That's a good
He
idea.
wasn't left behind on the.
Oh,
the
he
deep
wasn't?
jet.
Okay.
No, he
That's
was
right.
not
You're
on
right.
the-
I didn't see his face on that. Oh, okay. All right.
All right, so let's see. We're going to talk about someone that probably shouldn't be running for office or shouldn't be a sitting. So this is a sitting senator who changed her name to run for office. She dropped her maiden name.
She's got Darlene Graham Norden is like
Yeah.
her normal name. And she dropped that married name, which is interesting because, like, I thought they wanted trad wives to trad wife. Now she's going to get rid of her married name and like go out on her own as Darlene Graham, like the Nepo senator. I feel like that's contrary to the teachings of the Republican conservative agenda.
Yeah.
No?
So there was the debate. What, it was 2 nights ago or something? I think it was like 2 nights ago. All right, let's. We have a couple clips for y'all, but this is yeah.
Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? If so, why?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States, and if so, why or how?
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, but I do support the military. My brother was in the Air Force for 33 years, so I will do everything I can to support the military. My dad was in the Army. I'm not a polished politician up here. National security is not my thing, not my area of expertise, but I do support the military.
Congressman, I'll give you
I just want to pause for a second. You don't know the answers to all the questions in the debate necessarily, but there's ways to handle it. She dragged that shit way on too long. Like that, she could have just said, I don't have an opinion or I don't know or whatever.
That is just straight up white woman entitlement. That's what that
I
is.
don't
That's
know
not
why
even,
anyone would vote for her.
That's not even lack of preparation or stupidity. That's like, I didn't think I had to do anything because I'm a white woman whose brother died.
Taking the test at the end of a semester and never having gone to class. That didn't even feel like she crammed for anything. She just did not know. So let's finish this clip because her opponent is not that great either. He's a little
chance to respond, and I'm sure he recognizes that
Taiwan's a definite ally, and we have a trading relationship with them that is beneficial to the United States. Chips being one of them, and others. So what the president is doing right is he's enabling Taiwan to defend themselves against China. But it's peace through strength that he's showing with Iran that China, Russia, others are looking at it so that they don't want to deal with America, and that's why they haven't attacked Taiwan. If they had some weak Democrat in office like Biden or another Obama, yeah, they'd take it over. But we can't let that happen. We got to take a strong peace through strength is working.
I'm so sorry, but that is nuts. Like, first of all, Biden was very supportive of Taiwan, much to China's chagrin. Like, we know what's up with that, right?
But diplomatically,
Trump is the opposite. Like, Trump is like footseeing the fact of like kicking Taiwan to the curb, and Xi Jinping checked him. Remember when he went to China?
Yeah.
That was like an issue, and he was like, "You will not be supporting Taiwan," and Trump went with that shit. So this fool right here talking about weak Biden, not in this case, no.
But what's so crazy about this is a international incident that you could prompt very easily by answering the wrong way here. We have been like teetering on a knife's edge with Taiwan for generations now of the one China policy, which is like, well, we kind of say that Taiwan's independent, but we also don't want to go directly against China, which says that it's not. To not acknowledge that could spark an international incident in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So they are both not serious people.
No. Well,
So
but he sounds a little like, if you don't know anything about foreign policy, he sounds like, oh, he had an answer. Whereas she was like, it's not my thing, so I can't really say.
True.
But my brother was in the military, right?
And for all that Lindsey Graham
support the
I
military.
disagreed with and was just a horrible human.
Yeah.
His
So if
foreign
that wasn't bad
foreign
enough-
relation knowledge was
He knew.
he knew. He was incredibly
Right.
well informed. That was his strong suit.
That was definitely.
That's like,
his
it's like
strong suit,
JD Vance.
foreign
You
policy.
know that he knows. He's just
And he was a war
choosing-
hawk.
Yeah.
He was very hawkish.
Right.
And
So
very
these
Record
are
high. Americans are pinched at the gas station.
Oh, boy.
Half the country is living paycheck to paycheck. What can you do in the U.S. Senate to try to alleviate this economic pain for so many citizens?
First thing I'm going to do in the Senate is wake them up. Save America is my goal. Save America is my goal. SAVE Act should have been passed. It hasn't been. That being said, on lowering gas prices, we got to get the Straits of Hormuz opened, and the president has done a good job. He inherited a wreck with Joe Biden, so what he will have to do is move forward to making sure the war and the oil prices are low. I've got to make sure, and I will do as a businessman, go to the businesses, cut regulations, talk to exactly what is needed. Affordability is needed all over the country. And it's not happening in South Carolina. It's not happening. It's straining people all over the country. So with regulations and getting involved, I know what they go through from day one, and I will take the time to do that.
Senator, same question to you. Gas prices are record high. Americans are pinched at the grocery store, living paycheck to paycheck, half of America. So what can you do in the U.S. Senate to alleviate that pain?
Well, I know how that feels. There's 50 million people in South Carolina. Half of them live paycheck to paycheck.
50 million.
60% of them don't have 3 months savings to get by. I've been there before. I've struggled too.
So anyway, they're struggling because of Trump's policies, because of Republicans' policies. So let's just be clear about that. But 50 million people, maybe
there's
that's
40 million in California, and we have 1 in 8 people in the United States living here in California.
We're the largest.
There's not even close to that in any other state.
So
it's just it's upsetting, but I want you to take solace in one thing that you all can take home from this tonight. Thursday, August the 20th. Is the 20th? There's no such thing as imposter syndrome anymore. It doesn't exist. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. This woman is a sitting senator. There's only 100 senators.
Well, 99.
If you're not counting what's his face,
right?
McConnell.
And so valid. But I really do feel like this has. I'm not just being funny. I'm being very serious. This has changed a lot for me because I'm like, these Republicans really just go out there, like what you just saw in that war room with them when they were watching the speech of Kamala. Like the shit they were saying in there, ridiculous, absurd. None of it was true. Like they just come out here and make shit up like they're in some sort of fantasy world. You can do anything you want. If these people can run the country, I mean, it's bad, obviously, it's terrible, but they're out there doing it and feeling inspired. So you might as well just go for your dreams. There's nothing to lose, obviously, clearly. This is
then
how we're already
the worst
there.
part is that there's so many people that look to those people and say, yeah, they're just great. They're awesome. They're so brilliant.
She was honest.
Stop being hard on yourself. Look at Darlene Graham. You're not as bad as that. So.
Well, I implore everyone to please take a good hard look at Annie Andrews. We have been highlighting her on this show. If you live in South Carolina, don't think party. Just go listen, take a look at her.
It's bipartisan.
In contrast to these two.
Her points are bipartisan. They will help all South Carolinians. And I have relatives in South Carolina, so I have a closeness in my heart, like that I feel for South Carolina. And y'all deserve representation. Lindsey Graham has been there forever, feels like. Well, he's dead now, obviously, but I mean, he was, and he was representing the Republican agenda, which isn't for you, the people, it's for corporations. And Dr. Annie Andrews is not for corporations. She's for the people. And she's a doctor and she has children that live in South Carolina. So she has stake. She'll win. I think she can win. So
I think so too. I mean, she better if you watch this debate, like, come on. All right. So we are gonna show a clip that aired on This Week with AOC, I think 2 weekends ago. But I think it's really relevant because this discussion of the DSA keeps coming. And I won't say a lot about at this, we will later, but with the national DSA, their platform's been getting a lot of play lately, and in fact it's in this clip too. But that shit is batshit. But I really appreciated the way AOC spoke about the DSA and her involvement. So let's watch this clip and keep that in mind for future discussion here.
Member of Democratic Socialists of America?
Of the New York City chapter.
The New York City chapter, not the national.
No.
And what's the difference?
So every DSA chapter is formed locally.
Yeah.
And so the New York City DSA chapter, those are folks that you know. It's kind of like your local union chapter.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, because I know there was that strange moment in 2024 when the national chapter took away your endorsement.
Yes.
But I was looking through the DSA program, and this is the national program. I'm sure you've seen the document. It was adopted just a few months ago. But some of the positions here: defund the Department of Defense, close overseas military bases, abolish the police and prison system, grant amnesty to all immigrants in the U.S., replace the Supreme Court and executive judiciary with chosen by lower to Congress, abolish the Senate, public ownership of corporations and essential industries. I mean, those are some positions that you're going to be hearing a lot about this fall from Republicans.
And I think we're also going to be hearing a lot about Donald Trump's commitment to getting us into a reckless war in Iran, his collaboration with big companies to make sure that everything from groceries to rent stay sky high. And I think that people are less interested in these academic debates, and they're more interested in how we're going to bring their bills down and make sure that they can afford to see a doctor.
But do you see, I mean, are those positions you support?
No, but I think that this is a free country. Everyone can have all sorts of beliefs and they can organize around them, and you're free to do what you like and, have conversations with your neighbors. But my job as an elected official is to guarantee healthcare in America. And that's what I'm focused on, and that's what I seek to do.
And what do you say to the moderate Democrats who say, first of all, that they are capitalists and that those positions are going to doom the Democratic Party because, again, they're not positions that are supported?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they're free to have their economic identity as they like. And, in terms of dooming the party, the idea that there's a diversity of thought in America among everyday voting people is a fundamental fact of our country. I don't think that we should be worried about what somebody somewhere believes. I think we should be focused on what our plan to improve people's lives are.
So I think she talked about it very sensibly.
Kind of got there.
Yeah, I mean, what I appreciated about that was the separation between the national DSA and the local chapters.
I think it was so good to start.
It's such a broad brush, and we're seeing this platform and like, what the fuck? I mean, like, you could just take one of those things, like, basically they're saying defund the police. That didn't work out too great for Democrats in 2020. And if you have to, like, those things in the platform, if you have to explain them, they don't mean what they mean, you're already losing the argument. It's just
and this is why I'm saying this was a missed opportunity. I rarely see her misstep, and I think this was a misstep because I think that I agree with what she said at the end as she was, kind of wrapping it up. But the middle there, what I would have done is say, not, do you agree with them? Because you're going to keep getting those questions. What they want to do is provoke that division. And instead of leading into that division, step back and go, well, no, I want to see what it is that we can collaborate on. I want to see if there's anything that we do have in common, right? Like, so one of the things that I see about this is that they want to abolish prisons. I want to abolish private prisons. I
Private
don't think
prisons,
that prisons
100%.
like it, and then you start going into why that's like it costs us more money, like it's inhuman, like you can go through all
No
the
one should
things
be
that we
profiting
know.
from criminalization. Like this is
And
just
not just and we need to start using this from, like I already talked to you about this, out of the human rights lens, because Republicans don't give a shit about that, and start talking about the economic impacts, because we know there's been enough research studies to prove that not only are these things bad from a human rights standpoint, but they're also economically not viable. They're viable for corporations, and that's the whole point. So when we start like separating out those conversations and saying, you know what I'm going to do is work with them to achieve my goals and the goals that I think are valuable for the American people. And that's what I'm focused on. And that's what I can do as a leader. So it's kind of like a situation where you say, I'm going to make the best of what I have here to get the most out of it. Like, right. Try to make some synergy happen. And then when we get to the point where we have abolished private prisons, let's sit down and reevaluate at that point. We can't do it all at once. So let's take this step by step. And I think that's the problem, is that they want to have these big, huge debates and get people to say things that then can be sound bites that can be used against them later. And don't fall into that trap. Like step back and like unify and say, no, these are things that are going to help people. And when you start characterizing it like that, it's a lot harder to sound bite things like that than defund the police, right? Like,
I mean,
and you can easily just say end for-profit prisons.
Yeah.
There is a very succinct thing that gets you to the same place, gets you having the
they
same
do have to
conversation.
distance themselves, because the platform as written by the National DSA is batshit. And
Well-
this is definitely how we're going to lose if they're going to ride with that platform. So when they're asked these questions, they need to learn how to answer them.
That's right.
And if you are towing the line for that platform, I wouldn't support it. I wouldn't go anywhere.
But that's an
near.
easy shift, is to say, I don't agree with this part, but this is what I do agree with, and we align here, and this is what I want to focus on, and this is how I help the American people, right? So then you've disagreed, but you've also refocused and recentered the conversation at that
And
point.
Angie Nixon did this. She was asked
She
the
did. I
exact same
saw it. It's
question.
so good.
We're gonna
And
show
she
some
said
shit on her.
Basically what
So-
I just said.
It
Yeah.
was
Really good.
interesting on Tuesday. You know, I was kind of listening to the returns on background, and I kept hearing her name, and I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. I'll be honest with you, Florida. I've been paying attention to a lot of the elections. Florida, I was not paying attention to, because I was like, they have some shit to work out. Tell me when it's over. And I kept hearing her name, and then I looked at the TV and I saw her face. I'm like, I know her. I know her. So I want to share something with y'all. Let me share this video. Here it is from 2023. And this is when I first became aware of her. And I was like, if y'all don't know who she is now, you will.
Blood is literally boiling. Myself and other representatives, particularly Black representatives, throughout the past few legislative sessions, we have repeatedly told him what his rhetoric was going to do. And that is exactly what transpired on.
Sorry, just some background here. 3 people were murdered. It was a racist murder. And DeSantis, of course, was doing his DeSantis shit. And he was.
They tried to get into a Black college first and couldn't, and then they ended up at the Dollar General. But so it could have been way worse. So just I want to make sure everybody knows it could have been a lot worse.
She's speaking on that, and she's bringing a lot up that just is really moving to me.
Yesterday. This is absurd. It's ridiculous. He is one of the causes to this. This is an agenda that he has been pushing since he has gotten into office. He showed us who he was when he initially ran for governor, saying, don't monkey this around, don't monkey this up. Those type of statements, it only leads to things like this. We have leadership across this state, Republican leadership across this state, who are doing everything to continually attack Black lives, right? They are doing everything to erase Black history. They are feeding our children propaganda. All that does is lead to the devaluation of Black lives. This guy, he had no respect for the Black community. He had no respect. And my colleagues who are in leadership need to stand up and stop the mansplaining and the gaslighting and the misogynoir and the racist rhetoric that they spew time and time again on the House floor and the Senate chambers. Let's be clear. This is the same state legislature that just recently passed a bill to rename a portion of our roadways after Rush Limbaugh. That is what we're dealing with here in the state of Florida. That is why I am so angry. And then we have a very vindictive governor who, if we speak out, we're punished as elected officials. I, along with Representative McCarty, sat on that House floor when he unconstitutionally came after 2 congressional Black districts to remove them. I was placed in a basement with rats because I stood up for my community. I am more than angry. And now there are 30 families that no longer have their family members to come out to. This here in Florida, Governor DeSantis and the Republican Party of Florida are doing nothing but hurting us. And I am angry, and I will not continue to sit idly by.
So
That's
this
everybody
really got me
be doing.
3 years ago, and when I realized it was her, I reposted it, and it really tears for me. I mean, it really got to me, especially when she said in the basement with rats. I mean, the humiliation, the intentional humiliation, and then I thought about the lynchings that are going on. That they're trying to cover up and say they're suicides. I have news for y'all. Black folks do not hang themselves from trees. It is just not a thing. So, and the families have been asking for investigations. They're not doing it. So all of this stuff is just, so this brought this all back for me. I remember, I'll tell y'all, Susan, you were doing this too. A few years ago, I was on a call with Doug Jones. There was 3 of us on this call. You weren't on that call, Susan, but he was asking us to help Presley in Mississippi for governor. And he says, well, he could win with the Black vote. And I had already looked at Presley and I was like, he's not going to win with the Black vote. That's just not happening. He doesn't engage with the Black community. He's actually very friendly to cops in ways that don't make sense to Black folks. I was like, he's not going to win with the Black community. So Doug said, well, can you work to expose Mississippi corruption? I have done, stuff for red states before, red states in the South, but I have never in my life, like every day, I was able to find new content of Mississippi corruption. I mean, people lost their sons. They disappeared. They ended up finding out they were put in jail. They died in jail and they were buried in a shallow grave in an open field. I mean, this kind of thing. 2 men were tortured by cops. I mean, just every day. That, like, mentally, I was so shook. I've never been that, I don't know. I'm just saying this is really a problem. I told my wife the other day, because I showed her this video, I said, we are so fortunate to live in Los Angeles, California. We have never in our lives had to worry about our vote counting, okay? And they do this shit all the time. I've said it on the show. In the South, in red states, they switch polling locations. Same thing in Mississippi. On voting night, on voting day, folks showed up to the poll, and the polls, I think they closed at 7 or 8, and they showed up 20 minutes before or whatever to see a notice your polling location has been changed 20 miles away. You're never going to get there in time. No notice, whatever. This is standard fare. And so
they did that in Texas with Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
They did it in Pennsylvania.
I'm just, so for me, the fact that she, like, I'm very happy with my representative. Don't get me wrong. Well, but I would love her. She has my heart.
She is iconic, because I did not realize that it was her in that image. That one, thank you. This is from my screenshots that I screenshotted from back in 2023, because I covered this situation and did a video on Ron DeSantis specifically and the vileness. I'm from Florida. So for me, like, there's still a part of me, a large part of me, because I have so much family and like nieces and nephews that are there, that has stake in Florida. And I'm like, I'm not going to write it off, because it's not a red state. It's really not. There's so many people that are liberal in that state, but it's been gerrymandered. And so we've got a lot of Republicans that have taken over and made people believe that that's what it is. And so to me, what makes Angie Nixon so powerful is that her emotions and her like enthusiasm, and it's proportionate. It's proportionate to what we're seeing. And the disconnect of the other Democrats in office, not everyone, but a lot of them, that are trying to be prim and polished politicians that talk with,
He keeps it
you know,
real.
this monotone voice and professionalism. Fuck that shit. It's not professional. People are dying. Like, what do you mean? This is like, we need to see people upset, angry, because that's what that's what you should be feeling right now. And to try to taper those emotions and call it professionalism is a disconnect and an incongruence that the American public is not satisfied with. And that's why she absolutely wiped the floor with Vindman, her appointment. That's why he outspent her 19 to 1. 19 to 1, y'all. 19 to 1. Do you know how much more money that man had? And she still beat him by like 10 percentage points? Like, no. This is because the public wants someone like that. Someone who's been fighting for them on the ground, in the communities, and has a reaction that is authentic and relatable. And this woman I would trust with my life. So I am thrilled that she is running. And I think that Senate in Florida is absolutely in play, and you need to tell your friends, because when people believe that it is in play, they will show up to vote and they will tell their friends to show up to vote. And I'm telling you that this woman will be your next senator if y'all do that.
I think she's great. I mean, I've made that pretty clear, but she was on. So we showed AOC talking about the DSA. So DSA is a new, Angie Nixon is a new member of the DSA. So she actually joined while she was campaigning. And listen to the way she talks about it.
Important to note, I did recently make the decision to join the DSA. I also recently made the decision to join the Working Family Party, as well as become a lifetime member of the NAACP. And that is because those organizations are working hard in our communities to actually push back on these big corporations that are keeping us down and that are hurting us. At the end of the day, all of these organizations, the main through line is that they believe in our rights to voting. They believe in our rights to have access to quality health care. They believe in our rights to have access to a good quality public education. And so I am going to, join any organization that wants to push back on these big corporations and these greedy billionaires who Ashley Moody, unelected Ashley Moody, as well as Donald Trump actually, look out for.
Just after David Jolly gave his victory speech to be the top of the gubernatorial ticket for the Democratic Party. And I asked him a very specific question of whether a former Republican congressman can win on the same ballot as a state representative Democratic socialist. And he told me, quote, "We're going to find out. She's a fighter and leaves it all on the field. She goes in every room talking about what I was talking about. Angie is out there fighting for those same values. I think she and I have very different approaches to this." I'm going to ask you the same question. Can the two of you win on the same ballot in November, despite being on different ends of the Democratic Party?
I believe we absolutely can. And again, that goes back to the fact that the Democratic Party is a big tent party, and we really just care about putting the needs first of everyday people. And we are kind of the yin and yang, right, in regards to who we outreach to and who follows us. And I think he's going to pull some people in that I wouldn't necessarily pull in, and I'm going to definitely pull some people in that he wouldn't pull in. And we can run as an unofficial slate, as an official slate, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I know that we need to make sure we stop Byron Donalds in his track, and we need to get rid of unelected Ashley Moody, who really is only looking out for her campaign donors, who also allowed $10 million to be diverted away from medically needy kids to help defeat 2 ballot initiatives that would have improved the health of many Floridians. But she decided to use that money to defeat those ballot initiatives. And so we don't need that. That is so corrupt. It is what Donald Trump is supportive of, and is what people are really tired of here in our country.
So
throw
a couple things from that.
Whole leadership, by the way. Throw the whole leadership arc in Florida away. Like, it's so corrupt.
She's running for U.S. Senate, y'all. And I love the way she continues to talk about her race as about community. Okay. Yes. And I feel like U.S. senators don't really talk in that way. That sounds more like a representative, but I think it's so refreshing to hear her talk in those terms. The other thing I liked, and I heard David Jolly today kind of say the same thing, like, they may be coming from different places. They may have different issues, but like, let's unite and let's win together. And I think I'm seeing more. Thank God we're starting to see more of this
Finally
in the party. After these primaries, they're like, you know what? We fought this out in the primary. I mean, he wasn't her opponent, obviously, but we fought this out in the primary.
He did that with
we
his
have
opponent
different
too.
issues. Let's win this together. And she said that in this interview. So I think that's
we
great.
saw it in Michigan, and then we saw it here in Florida too. And I've been really impressed that, like, Alex Vindman, like, to his credit, came right out and endorsed her, and then sent an email out to everybody and was like, "Hey, go give to my friend. Like, she's awesome." I was like, "Hell yes, finally!" Like, everybody is sort of agreeing to put their egos aside and save the country. And that, I mean, I'm thrilled by that, honestly.
Yeah,
It's good on them.
So the interesting, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me put this. So
Yeah,
these are this is some data from David Jolly, and if you kind of look at red versus blue, so he's the blue guy, he's the blue one. Look at these. Democrats came out more than Republicans. So that, it's not that Republicans are necessarily going to vote for Democrats, but we keep saying this, they're just going to stay home.
Just keep them home.
Florida has been a red state, and the Democrats have more enthusiasm nationwide, really. But they, this is a good microcosm of that, of the data
Momentum.
that shows that, like, on election night, this is what happened.
People, I saw it today. Someone came in my comment section. I was responding to somebody else and saying, I actually think, Florida's in play. And I mentioned a couple other states. And someone came in and was like, oh, no, Florida. Like, no, it's all conservative. And even in my earlier post that I did on Angie, I had a lot of people coming in. And that's part of the problem, is there's people that just write these states off and say, forget them. They're red states. The voters don't matter. They're all crazy. And not only is that a disservice to the blue dots that actually exist there, but also it's discounting the fact that that's not even accurate. It's hyperbolic. It's not true, and it's dismissive. And so people will stay home because they hear people saying that, and they're like, well, then, I mean, I'm not going to go vote. What's the point? And that's how the Republicans win, is that they convince you that your vote doesn't matter, or your vote won't be counted, or whatever.
Yeah.
So people don't waste their time. And I'm telling you, that's a con job. Like, they've grifted you. You need to show up and vote because your state is in play, and you can take it back and make the government work for you.
Electoral
There's
map.
a tremendous amount of dissatisfaction in the Republican Party. And we're talking not even just purple states. We're talking about states even like Wyoming and Kansas.
Arkansas.
These states are in play.
Hey,
Arkansas.
Tom Cotton's about to lose his seat.
We need to get people out there and volunteering. We need people to get on the phones. And you can do this from anywhere, even a foreign country. When you volunteer, it's incredibly empowering. And all you have to do is log on to a website, and they teach you how to do everything. It's easy. Your privacy stays intact. Your phone number is not revealed to anyone. It's a website that you're using. It's an app that you're using. And you can do it from your phone or your computer or your tablet. But we need people volunteering, and we need people knocking on doors if you live in the area. And we need people writing postcards, but we need a huge surge of activism. And so that's up to all of us. And when you think of the people who sacrificed their lives for us and bled for us, the civil rights heroes, and all that they've done for this country, the least you can do is make some phone calls. That's the least you can do. And you don't even have to call voters directly. You can call volunteers and remind them. There's so much to do. We need people.
There's so much to do. And those postcards are a great little thing. You can do them while you're watching your TV shows. You can sit down and just like write a couple each night. And there's certain ones that will pay for postage if you check. And like some you can pay the postage, and that can be your contribution, but others will pay for the postage themselves. So check into that before you do that.
And
one more
it can be
clip
like an
on-
art project. It's fun.
Yeah. My daughters love doing it.
One more Angie Nixon clip that I want to share with y'all.
When it comes to like affordability, right?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people throw that word around, but how do we actually get there?
So I think
number one, what we should do day one, because medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy, and so many people are on the Affordable Care Act here in the state of Florida. We have the largest amount of folks who are on the ACA. And then it also drove up everybody's premiums when the subsidies were not extended. On day one, I want to file legislation to extend the ACA subsidies and then demand that these health insurance companies open up re-enrollment to help drive down these premiums, right? And so that's number one.
Very short clip, excuse me. But I want to live in a world where we flip the House and the Senate and Democrats on both chambers come together and are like, we are going to do this. We are going to extend the ACA. We're going to pass the extension on the ACA credits and then put a motion or put legislation that we have to open up re-enroll. Unite on that. That is very simple.
Yes.
This is a very popular thing to do. Trump can veto whatever, let him do that. But then all
Don't
the
be worried about
Democrats
him.
should be on the
Do
same
your-
side here on day one.
And use that to your advantage, because the vetoing can be used, right? Like
Yeah.
if he vetoes everything you
They
do,
have to
that's
fight.
powerful. That's powerful. But what I'm tired of hearing is we know the Republicans won't let us. Bullshit. Don't care. Pass it
Yep.
anyway. Pass it anyway. Pass it all. Pass everything. The sky is the limit. And then when they veto it, you take it to the public and say, we tried to get you affordable health care. We tried to make your housing affordable. We tried to make your groceries affordable. We tried to make gas prices affordable. And the Republicans said, no, take it up with them. And that can be done this time if we get the majority in both houses. That can be done. We're so close.
Yeah.
And we should pass it again and again and again.
Yes.
And make Trump
Make
veto
them do
it
it.
like 30 times if we have to.
That
Make
can be the
them vote
roadmap.
on it.
Get together on the things you can agree with. I don't care if you're progressive, moderate, DSA.
Yeah.
If you're
Yep.
there are things y'all can agree on. Get that shit passed in both
Mhm.
chambers and get it over to the White
And put
House.
it out on the news as soon as
Yes.
they veto it. You take it straight to the
Yep.
news, and that over, like Melina said, over and over.
So just sharing this map too, the Senate races, the way they're currently categorized, Ohio is a toss-up now. Alaska is a toss-up. Patola, won the other night. She's advancing. That is a ranked choice. It is going to rank choice, but Maine is a toss-up. New Hampshire lean D. North Carolina lean D. Georgia, I think that's a strong. It's hard to.
I was going to say, I think this is
Toss
a
off
very
Lindsay.
conservative estimate right
Yeah.
now. Outside
Texas,
of Nebraska,
lean
I
R.
think that they're all Ds. They're all
Okay.
lean Ds. at
Let's
least.
let's just go with that. So as we just mentioned, Patola advances.
And only because I
Um,
haven't been in Nebraska yet. I got to go look at their stuff. They might be in play too. I'll let you know.
We've been highlighting Mary. The reformers have. We've been posting about her. We've talked about it on the show. So I'm thrilled. But I think we were pretty confident that she would.
Yeah,
advance.
she's great. I mean, and she beat all the Dan Sullivans. She
Yeah.
beat all of them.
Thank you. Was it Dan R. Sullivan?
I can't remember, but yeah, like there's one.
There are two Dan Sullivans.
Three total. There's three, but I think
There's
only
three?
two ended up on the ballot, but there were 3. That's crazy. That's
A
brilliant.
lot of
though.
inbreeding. Maybe I don't know. Like what
That is using your free will, and I love it. Like that is truly. I mean, that I am sad. I wrote some threads on it, but I never got around to making a video because this timeline is this timeline. But that's the kind of video I would have made in my previous content, because that stuff is hilarious to me and so smart, so smart.
You sent over a video of Mary's ad. Let's play that.
Oh yeah.
One thing that matters to me, getting the job done for Alaska. And I'll take on anyone, including Democrats, anyone in the lower 48 who doesn't understand what Alaska needs. They don't get that resource development is about our survival. They don't get that firearms are for feeding our families and protecting ourselves. That a secure border keeps all Americans safe. When both parties are attacking you, you're doing something right. Alaska first, always. I'm Mary Peltola, and I approve this message.
Yeah.
I
Why is that
already know for
controversial?
that.
You told me it was controversial. I think
It's controversial because people don't like it. They want to see messages of unity, but what they don't understand is that Alaska isn't like every other state. Alaska is a totally different body in a totally different geographical location with different needs, and she's out there lobbying for her state the way that she needs to lobby for her state, and that's how a Democrat's going to win Alaska. And I also think that she's authentic about meaning those things, and that matters because it's not like she's like, I'm just saying this to win. She's like, no, I'm going to go in there and represent your needs, because the guy that's currently there has voted with Trump 99% of the time, and he's for things like sale of public lands. That does not help Alaska, right? So this woman's being honest about what needs to happen, and like we've talked about this before with respect to the Second Amendment, because when Michelle's been on here and she said, you know, ranchers in my community, they need those weapons to protect their livestock or whatever, right? So it can't just be let's get rid of the Second Amendment. There has to be, you know, intelligent talk about that. And so I think this is a really good example of a Democrat where they find bipartisan ways in to connect with their constituents that might normally vote Republican. They might actually vote for her. This is a good example, I feel like, of that kind of. But it's controversial because some people don't like it. It's like it gets them in their feels, and they're like, oh, like that doesn't feel good to me. Like she's gonna fight Democrats. Like people
so
are like
we have
losing their mind on
75 days, y'all, until Election Day. And that
Yeah.
seems like not that far away.
Yes, Teresa, all elections are local. Yes.
So this week, so every week, so midterm madness here, every week we highlight two candidates, Senate, governor, congressional races. And the two we are highlighting this week are, first, we'll just go with the first one. Sherrod Brown. He has been getting a lot of play, I would say, this week. I mean, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but about the data centers. That is really making a difference in his numbers. In fact, he's polling ahead at the moment, if you can see that, by quite a bit. Plus, John Husted sucks. I mean, first of all, he's not elected. He was appointed. And he was pro data center. So
There just was a huge spread in, I think it was Newsweek, saying Republicans are realizing that they're losing on data centers. So they've started to realize, and we saw that in Texas because Greg Abbott was trying to flip his script and steal Gina Hinojosa's
we have some content on that too. But the thing is, they're on record. They're on record. There are videos. There's articles. Here's a I guess this is a town hall with Sherrod
Don't
Brown.
let them have it both ways.
Contentious issues this election is on data center development in Ohio.
Shit, it's too low.
According to DCMap.us.
Anyway, this is a news report covering data centers in Ohio, and the response he's getting is pretty strong. They're
240 sites, 230 sites that John Husted was the point man on. The $2.5 billion in tax breaks, way over the top, coming into communities and people were surprised they didn't know they were coming in, bringing in higher electric rates, and we're seeing electric rates already go up because of these data centers.
Yeah, so that hit home for a lot of folks. I'm trying to bring up. We have some stuff on Husted too. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Husted. Thank you. Y'all can keep talking.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were waiting.
I'm bringing up some stills here. I'm trying to find
okay, so for this and every other candidate that we're bringing up right now, the data center thing especially, I need the Democrats to lock in on that. Like, I'm going to lose my damn mind if I see anybody like waffling on that, because our governor in Virginia did. And she was like, well, maybe we do let them have like some tax incentives, or maybe and like everybody was like, wait a minute, like everybody freaked out, was like, we elected you because you were going to be tough on, in regulating data centers. This is a bipartisan issue. Like, you just cannot fall down on this.
Josh Shapiro just put out a statement on it too. Yeah.
And he's making them pay he's taxing them. He's making them pay their the utilities. Or
they have to provide their own electric.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Tommy Tuberville is quite strong on data centers. He's like bring it. I mean, and Doug Jones is, making headway. Like Doug Jones is against unregulated data centers. So it's like, if you can read the room, which everybody should be, there's no way you can think your constituents are going to be on board with data centers without regulation, using up the water, making your energy prices go up, the noise, all those things. It's just not, you're crazy. Like this we've seen this as a winning argument.
Did we see Jason Kelsey's ad about data centers?
Yes.
So when there's an ad by a former football player advertising a beer company and another drink company coming together, and the whole ad is, data centers want to use our water, we've got a better idea. We're going to send them our pee. And then they have jars, and everybody has their jars of pee, and they're walking them to the data centers saying, here, you can use this to cool your data center.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that isn't an indication of where the wind's blowing, I don't know
That's
what is.
Everybody on Threads was like, now we know, like, full steam ahead, obviously, like, this is bipartisan for sure.
And not just the data center, but AI itself and the surveillance state.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
these SWAT cameras are making mistakes. Police are arresting people mistakenly, pointing guns at families.
Yeah, we covered that, the one in Virginia last week.
It's insanity, and nobody wants this. Nobody wants to have their job replaced by AI, and nobody wants to have their car surveilled like every single time they go anywhere. It's really gross, and it's people who are like all about freedom. Even Republicans used to say that they were the party of freedom. Probably not anymore, but they used to, and that was a big deal for people. They don't want their privacy invaded.
Yeah. Here's another, speaking of ads though, he released an ad this week, Sherrod Brown, and I thought this was devastating. Hopefully this sounds okay. Let's see.
Brown and I approve this message.
Our daughter Audrey has a rare neurological disease, but that doesn't stop her from dancing and going to school with friends. Without Medicaid, that wouldn't be possible. Last year, we met with Senator John Husted. He looked us in the eye and he said, I will not cut this. 1 week later, he put 500,000 Ohioans' healthcare at risk, including Audrey's. You can't hug our daughter, take your picture with her, and then cut the care that she relies on. We're not going to stand for that.
Senator, that couldn't be more clear. You cut Medicaid, you vote to cut Medicaid, or you don't.
Yeah, I hear those stories. That was the most poignant when I did a roundtable 6-8 months ago and met Audrey's mother, and it was a stunning moment. But I hear those kinds of stories from people that have been promised that they won't make those cuts, promised that they'll speak out against the war, for all these kinds of things that they feel betrayed. They over and over, people say, we didn't vote for this, we didn't vote for this war, we didn't vote for higher fertilizer prices. A farmer in Northwest Ohio told me their fertilizer costs went up $100,000 this year. None of that people thought they were voting for. People are angry. They don't see a government that's fighting back. They don't think they have a voice in Washington. John Husted has not spoken up for them or fought for them, and they're ready for change, as you know.
What do you see in the primary results that we're seeing around the country tonight, particularly in Florida? What are the indicators that you see there for Democrats, and what turns out to be the diminishing power of the Trump endorsement?
I don't know about the Trump endorsement, and I hear what you say, and I think you're right 99% of the time, Lawrence, on most things. But my focus is what I'm hearing about their lives, and the system's more rigged than it's been ever in their minds, and in my mind, they see they're working harder. Just the other day, it was announced that CEOs' average pay is $17 million. That's bad enough. But what's really bad is the average CEO makes 300 times what the average worker makes. People know that. They know no matter how hard they work, they can't get ahead. More money's going out the door than coming in. And they see a government, from the White House to John Husted, they see a government that's essentially doing nothing to fight for them and to speak for them.
So here's the thing too. Sherrod Brown was senator before, right? I'm hearing a lot of Ohioans have regret for losing him. He was very active on the ground there. He was not an inaccessible senator. Somebody told me a story of like they were having a problem getting tires for their tractor, and he had his team help locate tires. You know, like this is the kind of man he is. So he has a record. If y'all are interested in him, go look at his records, see what he's achieved. He's actually brought, stuff home to his state. He fought for Social Security.
This makes me mad. This makes me so mad. I get real frustrated. And there's a part of me that always lives as a government teacher, as a political science scholar. So I understand voter behavior, I understand. But there's another part of me that's human and is like, how fucking stupid are you that like this man was out there doing like good stuff for you. And you're like, you know what? Let me go ahead and dip my toes into fascism because like maybe I'll get more from Republicans. Like it's madness to me that people are like, I'll just go ahead and sit this election out.
I'm telling
you,
they
got this covered.
They were riding on Trump's coattails. They were responding to the culture wars, the division. We're trying to move along here tonight. But one of the things I didn't play about with Graham, I don't know if you saw her when she did, I think it was CNN. I think it's the same thing on Fox. She was defending, She was like, I've been talking to South Carolinians and they're more concerned about men and women's sports and boys and girls sports. Like they always fall back on these culture issues and people soak it up, or at least Republicans soak it up. And
it's like
they're shooting themselves in the foot.
They love racism, they love misogyny, and they love everything connected to that through the evangelical line. And I get real pissy about it. I'm going to be honest, because I just like how some of it is just a fundamental lack of critical reasoning. I don't know what else to tell you, because I saw a woman last night on TikTok and someone was picking apart her video. You might have seen it. It's like a viral video. And she's a trauma counselor. I sent it to you. She's a trauma counselor, and she is biracial. Like she has a black father and a white mother. And she was saying that. And then she came out and said, I know y'all are going to be mad, but I voted for Trump. And she went in to explain, like recently in 2024, and she went in to explain why, even though she does all of these things that are completely the antithesis of what he is. But then you go look at her content and it's all Jesus. It's all religious talk. And none of it correlates with what Trump is doing. Absolutely. Like I don't know if y'all have ever read a Bible, but I have. It doesn't look anything like what he's doing. And it's just, there's so many of those people. And at the end of the day, I'm like, this is someone that just had lead poisoning or something. Like there's just a fundamental disconnect of understanding, of being able to recognize that this man is grifting you. And so that is why it is important for the rest of us to show up and vote, because some of these people really don't have the capacity. And that's just the God's honest truth. I don't know what to say. Like as a teacher, I usually say you can save everybody. Apparently you cannot save everyone. So the rest of us have to do the heavy lifting.
All right. So our other candidates, go ahead, Melina.
Well, I was just going to say that one of my very close friends works for the federal government, and they've just been so screwed by this administration, like royally screwed. And one of her friends voted Republican, and she's like, why did you do that? And she's like, well, I'm religious, and that's what my pastor told me we should do. So that's what I did. Pastors are not supposed to be telling people who to vote for.
Why are they getting
away with that? Why are they getting, why aren't they paying taxes? And also, why did you think as a federal worker that the party that doesn't want federal government and wants to make cuts to everything, like the reason we can't eat blueberries and lettuce and all these things are because they keep cutting regulations so that corporations don't have to pay for things. Why did you think that was going to be the party for you, ma'am? I don't like, this woman also said that people, when she talked about voting for Trump, that people jumped all over her. And so there's by the way, I know we're trying to move on, but this is also
they probably
something.
Thought she was an awful person.
That's right, because they didn't think she was a safe person, because she's not. And that's a valid perspective. And so I would also like to encourage everyone that if you know somebody like that who is leaning towards Republican and they come to you and they say, I'm thinking about voting for Trump, that urge that you have to kind of be like, well, you're a terrible person. go ahead and lean into that. Cause like, fuck this shit. Like,
I think at this point, it's fair.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
No, because like, it's like they aren't safe and you need to educate them on why they're not safe. And you should have that same degree of emotion and hostility that we saw with Angie Nixon. If we all had that, they would not be doing this. That's the problem, is that we keep letting them just do stuff instead of having the appropriate reaction, which is like, are you fucking crazy? Like, that's the reaction that you should have. How can you be a trauma counselor with people that are being affected by these policies and then vote for those policies? Like, I guess because you want business? Is that it? Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
And
like,
just run down the whole list. From grab him by the key to the Epstein files, to the plane, to the corruption, to his kids getting $3 billion in federal like money, our taxpayer dollars. Just run through the whole list. Plus, the guy is just constantly nasty to everyone. Like, if you're a good person and you see someone talking to someone else, like we just saw it in the video clip of Trump talking to the reporter, and you're like, yeah, that's the guy I want to be the example for my kids. Like, what?
Jessica Anderson did a great video on this. If you follow her, she is a state delegate for Virginia. Jess Anderson, I think she's just, you'll find her. She's popular on TikTok and on Instagram. And she just did a good video on this. Responding to the challenges that we have to do as Democrats, because we have to do two things. Not only do we have to defeat the rhetoric that's coming out against Democrats, that's just like, I hate them, like, as an entity. Like, I couldn't tell you a single policy that a Democrat has, but I just hate them. Like, and I've been taught by Republicans to hate them. I mean, that's the truth. And so you have to be able to deal with that. But you also have to deal with the apathy, and you also have to deal with the knowledge of bringing an actual policy forward. There's just a lot of things we have to juggle all at the same time, and it is challenging. And I think her video is really good. So if you have some time, go check that out.
And memorize some of these corruption scandals and names. Like, Republicans are really good about that. Like, Burisma. Like, they know the names of the companies where the scandals took place. We need to do that. We need to memorize the scandals and have a list that we memorize it, like write it 100 times, like, when you were back in school, and know the names and say, hey, and when they say, I don't believe it, go, okay, well, you can just say Donald Trump derangement syndrome, fake news, whatever, or you can actually look it up. Because if you're being programmed to say Trump derangement syndrome and fake news. You've been programmed to say it. But if you really want to know the truth, look it up. And then come back to me.
I wouldn't hate some of those sound bites too, if I'm honest. Like, I wouldn't hate it if we got good at that too. Because if we could butt her emails to them and talk about the East Wing and like find a way to do that, like every time he does something wrong, that would be helpful.
So our other candidate is Gina Hinojosa. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. She's running for governor of Texas. And one of her signature issues or, things to do is she wants to put $1,500 back in every Texan's pocket, which is a popular thing to do. And she's like, it's your money. We're going to give it back to you. I'm not mad at that. Kind of her origin story of why she decided to run. They tried to close her son's school. She fought back and won. So she kept her son's school open. She ran for the school board. And now she's running for governor. This is her position on ICE. This is a quote of her. I will never offer up Texas as a staging ground for operations that terrorize families. So she's not running. She's basically saying, yeah, we need to secure the border. Texas is a border state. No, Democrats are not talking about open borders. That's Republicans. Like, that's Republicans branding Democrats that way. We're not talking about open borders, but we're talking about like humanity. We're talking about, treating people like humans. We are talking about, yes, you should be able to declare asylum. We're talking about not separating families. We're talking about close these fucking ICE prisons that are feeding people food with maggots and water with worms in them. So she's on that page. So, I just want to put that out there.
She's great.
That is great.
Yeah.
I really like her.
Because there really is torture happening in these facilities. Yeah. And that's another thing that you should be mentioning to these people. Like, there are babies, 2-year-olds, there's a 2-year-old that just got shot and they're not giving him medical treatment, and he's
Well,
lactose intolerant.
I don't think they
And
care. I don't think they
making-
care. I think they don't care. But you know what
They
they think
don't-
they do care is if you talk about all the money that it's costing them.
Yeah. But
I
there
know
are
it's
some people
terrible.
who do and just
You know,
don't
and
know.
you should know that, and you should always lead with that. But I think you also have to have like some kind of concrete money figure, because it's like we keep talking about people and like babies and you know, people actually dying, and they're like, well, that's just life. But then when you talk about the money, they're like, wait a minute, what? Like, I want that $1,500. Like, just bring both is what I'm saying. Bring both. Bring all the
$240 billion of our taxpayer money is going towards this shit. And the companies, like, for example, Geo Group, their profits increased by over 600% in the last year. And guess
Or
what?
Civic.
Donald Trump invested in that company. He invested checks. So every single person that's getting tortured in there, Trump is making money off of that and withholding food and
All those
withholding
groups.
medical care.
They're
So we have a
invested in
clip
all of those
her
groups.
from earlier this week, and she's talking about data centers.
Oh, and they own a lot of the data
about
center
data
stuff,
centers
too, by
in
the way. There's a
Texas because
crossover.
Texans are big mad about data centers. And so the governor invited them all into Texas with very generous tax breaks, the most generous in the whole country. And so there's now this gold rush of data centers into especially rural Texas. And so Greg Abbott is messaging different, but his actions are the same. He is basically auditing himself. He is writing letters to himself. It's to the agencies where he appoints everybody. Everybody knows that come November 4th, the day after the election, he'll sing a new song, right? The only way we can have real protections in place for people is to pass laws. And so I've called on Governor Abbott to have a special session today. Remember when he had a special session last year on mid-decade redistricting?
Donald Trump told him to.
That's right. Well, the people of Texas have been telling him that we need protections against data centers. He refuses to act in a meaningful way. And so people don't buy it. He is backpedaling on the data center issues, and people see it for exactly what it is. It is an election time political ploy.
What law would you pass if you were governor?
People want a seat at the table so that they can have a say in whether and how these data centers come to their communities. Right now in these rural areas, they have no zoning regulations. Their local officials have no say over anything with these data centers. So, for instance, they are coming into these rural areas that don't have paid EMS, they don't have paid firefighters, and there are these hyper-scale data centers. Somebody was electrocuted building one. They don't even require licensed electricians on site. There are just no rules. And so there's all sorts of ways we need to protect Texans against what is happening, but they just want a seat at the table.
Yeah,
Regulation.
We need to see more of her. I'll be honest, I hadn't seen a lot of her until we as a group decided let's focus on her. So when I was doing my research, I was impressed. I like her. On the other hand, here you have Greg Abbott, $40 million, 3 new data center campuses that he welcomed, the Google data centers. And as Gina, pointed out, he was for data centers, and now he's trying to walk it back. But she's like, guaranteed, the day after the election, he's gonna be on their side again. So, and he has a record. So if you want to look at records, she was talking about the flood. This is they were not. This is a known flood zone. He failed Texans.
Did you bring the meat cutting clip? I forgot to send it to you.
No, I did not.
Oh my God, y'all go look it up. He's cutting meat. And like her campaign already used it in an ad, and it was brisket, yeah. But the faces that this man makes while he's cutting it, like that should lose him the election on its own. I'm sorry, we have all this serious stuff to talk about, but you need to go look at that video.
Let's make that into memes, Casey.
It was Michael Dukakis
we
in
need
the
to.
tank territory.
Yeah.
So this is important in every state that does it. He's refused Medicaid expansion, and this has cost Texas big. They have lost rural hospitals. The only reason why they were refusing Medicaid expansion was because of Barack Obama. Okay, so that was part of the
I
issue.
hate it.
So
God, I hate it.
This won them political points. Stupid move.
Also, she's from Texas because of the way she says rural. Like that's like a legit like Southern. That's how they say it.
Meletta, you mentioned Flock, I think. So he's welcoming Flock cameras, which that's almost as bad. And I think it's only because enough people haven't heard about it.
That's
but the opposition
exactly
to
what it
FLoC
is.
is almost as intense as to data centers.
When Republicans figure out what they are, like actually figure out what they do and what they are, they will be just as opposed to them as they are data centers, maybe more.
I mean,
there are like people that are destroying them and like getting arrested, but they don't even care. They're just like out destroying these cameras because people just don't want these cameras.
Yeah.
We highlighted that last week. We showed a bunch of videos, and it's another bipartisan thing or nonpartisan thing. And a lot of states are reporting FLoC cameras are being destroyed, covered. There was a man sitting on the street, waving or he was putting a sign in front of it saying, block FLoC or whatever. And he was just an old man just chilling. So.
My favorite was the one that we saw this past week, and it's like a guy carrying the giant FLoC camera, and he's got an American flag as well. And then the security people are like moving at a glacial pace, like they're just barely walking. And here's this guy just carrying the camera off, and all of us in the comments are like, "What FLoC camera? I just saw a patriotic American carrying a flag. Like that's all I saw. I didn't see anything." And it's like even the security people are like, whatever, dude. Like nobody likes these things. Nobody wants to protect them.
Well, it's so scary because it's not just like videoing. They're like getting our electronic identity, and they're able to tell every place that we've gone. And there's like not even any warrant needed. It's so weird and so un-American, and it's against our privacy rights, really.
All right, so one more thing here. Let's watch this clip of the way this is election related, and I think it's kind of like another plan.
Idea in your head, okay? Because it's so hard to get the Senate to do anything, now they're on recess, they don't get anything done. If you declare a national security emergency as the President of the United States, they can't challenge it. It can only be overturned by a 2/3 vote of both houses of Congress. So if you do this in the next month, we will get photo ID, proof of citizenship, and a limit to mail-in ballots. And
let me just say that stranger things have happened. Okay, I'll leave it at that.
So more, we keep hearing word about, they're going to federalize the elections and all that. I mean, are they really? I guess I feel like if we keep hearing this, they're going to try.
They're going to keep trying. They're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
Like, am I still muffled?
No, you're fine.
Okay. I think the problem is also they've done such a good job at disinformation, because I just had a conversation in like a TikTok thread with a girl that went like line for line with me, and she was trying to insist that a state ID would prove citizenship. And she was insistent that you would not need a birth certificate, that you would not need a passport. Mm-hmm. And I was like, my dear, you won't be able to vote. Like she genuinely wasn't getting it. And that's because people have told them that it's like something different. And it's the same thing with these people whose like wives and girlfriends get arrested, and they're like, oh, they were supposed to be going after the drug dealers, not my wives, right? And they're believing the rhetoric of these Republicans. And this is where I need people to just live with me in reality. And these people are existing for corporations and billionaires, and you're not one of them. So just stop voting for them. It's like that's simple.
As was said before, it's the SAVE Act is just cover. It is a modern literacy test. Not everybody took the literacy test. If you were of a certain shade, you were allowed to vote regardless. Mm-hmm. So it would be the exact same thing. Certain people will be allowed to vote no matter what. And certain people will have to see every single document to vote, and they will be turned away.
Because if you have to, first of all, there's not enough time for women for women who've changed their name to get their passport. If you've changed your name, you need to have a birth certificate that matches your ID. If you don't have that, then you need a government issued ID, which is a passport. There's not enough time between now and the election for every woman that's changed their name in America and doesn't have a passport to go get your passport. Now, the other thing that you need is you need your marriage certificate and your birth certificate in order to get your passport. So depending on what state you live in, it could cost anywhere from $15 to $50. And if you don't live in that state, then you have to probably get it expedited, and you have expediting fees that you have to pay, and you have to send away for it. And then you still need to go and get your passport. And if you've been divorced, then you need the divorce decrees to prove the line of how your name has changed. Okay, so this is a poll tax that's going to at least cost $165 because that's how much a passport costs.
They are not educating people on this on purpose. And a lot of Republicans, there's a statistic that Republicans have less passports than Democrats. Okay, not that any of this is good. Like, Democrats want everybody to vote. That's the thing. Republicans want fewer people to vote because that's how they win. So,
they don't want women to vote.
That's specifically that. That's why they're going after trans people. That's why they're talking about girls and boys and girls sports, which is not a thing, but that's why they're talking about it, because ultimately that's their goal, is to take away women's access to vote.
Men changed their names too. I did.
It's true, but
when my wife and I got married,
women.
No, I know. When my wife and I got married, I took her maiden name as my middle name, and she took my last name. And I was like, "You're taking my name, I'll take yours." So we got triplicates of our marriage license, our passports, have all of our shit. But that was just because we travel. It wasn't because we were worried about voting. But yeah, you're right.
That's so sweet. That's so nice.
Yeah, we're about to have our
I'm
anniversary.
gonna get my husband to take my last name.
How long?
How long have you been married? 30 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
30
That's wonderful.
years. Big one. So, all right. Best of the worst of the week. Chris, you want to play your video first, or you want to talk?
Yeah, let's play it first.
Okay, let's go.
Refused to become a victim. When a masked stranger approached her in Center City last Wednesday morning, she squared up and kicked him in the chest. So you kicked him in the center of his chest. Just like that.
Yeah.
Wow. It happened about 5:15 a.m. near 15th and Broad. Jamaica W. believes the person who targeted her is the same suspect police say was caught on camera chasing a woman outside City Hall minutes earlier. Before her own encounter, Jamaica says she spotted the masked suspect approaching a runner who was wearing headphones.
So I started to wave at her across from the intersection and say, "Hey, there's someone behind you."
She then witnessed him try to force his way into the coffee shop before turning his attention towards her.
So I figured that if anything was going to happen, I wanted to see it with my own two eyes.
She turned around, screamed and yelled and put her hands up to fight. But something seemed off about the scary stranger.
He just seemed so disoriented about what his goals actually were. Like, I had bags, he wasn't reaching for those. It didn't seem like he had a clear goal to actually get in La Colombe to do anything. So I was like, okay, well, let's see if you can fight, and he couldn't.
Police say the suspect accosted several people in a 15-minute span. Investigators say he said this to the runner.
He's holding a cell phone up in front of her, at which time he asks her, "Are you ready to die?"
He ultimately fled into Suburban Station. Until he's caught, Jamaica has a message for early Center City risers, especially women.
Make sure that you're not playing music in your headphones. Keep your keys in between your fingers. Just do everything that you can to feel safe.
Jamaica Wilson is
Chris,
amazing.
She looks, first of all, I love that. Second of all, she looks small. She had no fear. Because the way she's looking up at the interviewer, she looks like a small stature. Like, go girl. I
don't know, but I'm so glad that people are finally talking like real people. Like, that's how I talk to my friends. Like, that's relatable. I feel like we oftentimes see people talking and I'm like, where do they live? Who are they? They don't this is a real response. This makes sense to me. I love her. She's great.
It's great. I love
Where was this at?
Right by City Hall in Philadelphia.
Oh, it's in Philly.
Wow.
I wasn't sure.
It blew up. It was on I saw it at least on ABC World News Tonight as well. And now everyone's going around with little memes about her. Like,
you should be a star.
If you don't,
to me, it's like
you don't look like
that's
you have a plan.
You don't look like you have a plan.
You don't look like you have a plan.
For the Republican Party, that's what we need to do: is put a mask next to Trump or all those. Get the mask, have them holding that mask, and be like, "You don't look like you have a plan."
So she said, I was just. He said, "Why were you out at 5 a.m.? I was on my way to Soul Cycle, and I just, and so." And she's
I love that she saw something and just act. She went.
And she did. And so she's been going on all the local talk shows as well and demonstrating her fighting style, which is amazing. She's
love that.
phenomenal. We need that
My
energy.
son did a similar move. We had him years in karate. He was in middle school and did something like that in class to someone. So that was not good.
Oh no.
Yeah. Somebody was like doing something they shouldn't have, and he did the kick.
That's funny.
All right, Casey.
Oh, hello. This is my gourd. I love
bought it?
Halloween. Yes, I did. I was influenced. So you know how QVC had that viral clip of the woman that turned
With the
around
hair,
and was like
the
doing the
wig.
wigs, and she said blowjob, and it like went viral or whatever. Well, then QVC was everywhere, and QVC had these sparkling glitter pumpkins, and I was like, I'm gonna get a glitter pumpkin. And I got this one and the other two ones, and I actually really like it. And it has brought me a lot of joy, and my family and my kids were excited because I was gonna put it in a box until we brought out the Halloween stuff. And my husband was like, I don't like, just put it out now.
It's basically
like,
fall.
And then I was like, yay, permission
Weather
to
says so.
decorate. And so I was thrilled. And so everybody is now really excited about the gourd. And I took this picture for my followers because someone had asked me about the size or whatever, and I was like, so this is for reference, this is the liter bottle. If you're wondering,
That's pretty big.
the scale. Yeah.
That's a big one.
And it's like on timers, like so you can set it on timers, and they have different colors. And I don't know, like I was like, well, this is kind of like a fallish color, so it's like you can have it out all. I like things that you can keep out for a while, but I also like things that are made well, and this is made well. It's not like cheapy or whatever. Look, I'm just saying I got by QVC, and that's fine. And I'm at peace with it, and I really enjoyed my gourd this week.
Whether you know it or not, QVC is headquartered in Westchester, where I live. So thank you very much for supporting our local economy.
I did not know that, but now
We
I
need
feel
things
like,
that
you
bring
know,
us
my
joy.
mom
I
grew
think
up.
it's good.
I grew up on QVC because my mom was obsessed with it.
Well,
so,
we appreciate your business.
yeah, she certainly put some people through college. I promise you. So
Remember
anyway,
when
if you
we were
want,
on
this is
lockdown
like
from COVID? Did you guys like we put our Christmas tree up so like before Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I needed that.
Yeah.
I was like,
So we really love Halloween here. We're big Halloween people. Nick is trying to get me to keep the spider. We have this giant spider we put on the wall that like lights up, and he's like, I'm really trying to get it there all year long. Like he wants it there, and he's like, at least a Christmas spider. And I was like, I really like taking them down because I like my Christmas stuff. But anyway, this is $35, I think. QVC has the Easy Pay. I didn't know this, but they forced
For
me to.
easy
I didn't even.
payments.
I didn't even know. Like all of a sudden, I was like, "Wait, why am I only paying this amount right now?" And then I realized that they force you into the Easy Pay thing, so that like it just debits it, like takes it out of your checking account or whatever. Like I use PayPal, so it comes out of my checking account. But yeah, you can just like it's 4 easy payments of like $10,
Casey,
and
they
you're
need
gonna
to
have
do
your
a paid
reward.
partnership with you.
Yeah.
We live Halloween at our house too. And we have Halloween decorations up all year, like even outside. And people are like, oh yeah, like the people with the skeleton and the pumpkin in their front yard in the summer, at Christmas, all year round. Yeah,
I'm
I love
eyeing
it.
that giant skeleton from Costco, but I'm like, where the hell does that go? Like, I mean, it's like not. I don't mean the 12-foot one that folds up. I mean the giant one. That, if you guys have seen it, it's like the chest up. It's the whole thing. I mean, I don't know how big that thing is. Like, I don't know where you put it. But they also have a really cool zombie this year that I think we're gonna get because we have a couple of the old ones like the wolf and like all those animatronic ones that are really big and scare you. Like we have
those are cool. I don't know where you store that shit though, but yeah, that's what I always
we
think. Like, where
actually
am I gonna
have a
store it?
storage unit. We have a storage unit which we have to stop paying for, so we're gonna have to find room in our garage. And Nick is currently cleaning it out, and he's doing an excellent job. I would like to tell you that my husband has taken on a wonderful organization thing that's not mine at all, and he's doing a great job, and I don't know anything about it, but he's gonna find space for my gourds.
We keep waters at our front, a basket with waters outside our front door for deliveries, and there's a sign that says, thank you for your delivery, help yourself. We started this during COVID. No, they take such good care of our packages. They hide them so nobody sees them. We've never had something stolen. Until 1 year, it was 2 Halloweens ago. We had these hand-painted pumpkins, like a display outside our door, and somebody stole them. So I looked at the video. the Amazon lady stole my pumpkins. That was the only time it's happened. So I wrote Amazon. I was like, I don't care. I'm not trying to cause problems here, but could she just bring back my fucking pumpkins? I don't know. Maybe she thought when I said, please help yourself, she
thought you meant take the pumpkins.
In the basket with the water. You know, I don't know. I was very upset.
Did you get them back?
No. I had to get new pumpkins. I was not good.
That sucks. I do that for my delivery people. Like it's like after Thanksgiving, like into December, I do it for a couple weeks where I bring out.
We do it all year because it's hot here right now. We've had Amazon drivers not deliver, but they just come and grab the waters. I don't care. You know, it's fine.
That's really nice of you, Chris. I can't keep up with that.
We started during COVID because everyone was putting food, and I was like, that's just not going to work. Like this.
Yeah,
you know, so
we do a lot of different. But I do hand warmers because it's cold here, so I'll give them hand warmers and like gum and stuff like that
that's
too.
Nice. That's really nice.
That's so nice.
All right, so my turn. All right, I told y'all Angie Nixon has my heart, and so my favorite. I was going back and forth, but this is my favorite thing. I think this was today, or maybe it was yesterday. I think it was today, where she is. This is the proper way to respond as a progressive or a person on the left. So watch this clip.
If wanting your neighbor to afford their insulin is radical, then call me a radical. If believing a mother shouldn't have to work 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads is extreme, then call me extreme. But where I come from, okay, right here in Duval County, these things are not radical. That's right. They're not extreme. This is just basic human decency. It's caring for our neighbors. And I don't know about you, but I was taught to love my neighbors. That's what guides me. Some folks like Ashley Moody like to claim the mantle of morality, yet their actions tell a very different story. But we put actions behind our words. So Ashley Moody can call it whatever she wants. She can call us whatever she wants. But in November, she will call me Senator.
I'm ready to go to war for her.
Yeah, I mean, I want to have her over for dinner or something. Yeah,
she's amazing.
I love her.
So much
I
passion.
love by the way, that clip we didn't play, but the one that Chris Quinn was talking about earlier that I saw as well, where she talks about the DSA and she talks about how she's like, well, I want to abolish private prisons. And she like redirects the conversation. I've seen now several interviews with her talking about this. There's one that the Tennessee Holler shared as well. It might be the same clip, but she is excellent with the media. And if you know anybody that has any connections to campaigning, put them on her, have them watch her. Her media literacy is like perfection. The way she handles herself, her answers, her responses, like call me radical. Yeah. Like I want people not to die. Like what a crazy revolutionary thing, right? Like that, like you lean all the way into it and stop letting the Republicans take control of this narrative. Like I love everything about it.
I want to make sure so on Threads, I want to find the damn post.
Yes,
maybe I sent it to you, Casey. Yes. I don't know if I did, but here it is. So someone replied, Angie Nixon has been our Democratic nominee for senator for all of 5 minutes, and somehow I've already gotten 3 text spams asking me to donate to her campaign from 3 different numbers, despite responding stop to each one and marketing them as spam. I'm going to vote for her in November, but damn, do I hate this. She replied, she said, sorry about that. Just know I appreciate you. DM me so I can make sure we remove you. We got your info from vendors. We use multiple ones and you're on multiple lists, apparently. So sorry. No one ever does that shit. No one ever replies like that. And she did not, she was just,
and that's
like
why
said,
she's already raised $1 million. That's why she's already $1 million in, because she's a great candidate for that reason. This is what I'm saying. I have not seen her misstep yet. And not only is she not misstepping, she's doing all the right things. She's doing all the things that we come on here every week and you see me like lose my blood pressure over and I'm like yelling at the Democrats about. Like I would just, if I were a strategist, I would have no job because she would just be doing everything right. And I just get to sit back and go on a vacation, I guess. I don't know. Like she's doing all the right stuff. Everyone should watch her. Do what she's doing.
And I think if she did misstep, Casey, she would own it, and she
would own it.
You know what?
Then it's not a misstep
This is what
at
I
that
did
point.
wrong. We'll do better.
Everything's an opportunity when
Honesty.
you live like that. Everything's an opportunity.
Yep. Call to action, CTA. Go, Casey.
Okay. So, hello. All of the candidates that we've discussed tonight, if you could find one that you have a particular kinship with, I would like you to tell one person in real life about them, and I would like you to share something online about them. And if there isn't somebody that you connected with on this particular live, maybe somebody that we've covered in the last live or the live before, would love it if it was one of the Senate seats, right, that we've been covering, because we really do need to win the Senate, and that's so important. And if you have extra time, so that's like my base ask. But then my next is if you could look into your local races, right, and do the same thing for somebody there, right? Like find something somewhere closer to you, closer to home, something connecting to your community, maybe a representative or state level. I don't know, because Virginia doesn't have state elections, so I don't know what's going on with everybody's state elections, but that's the call to action. Is at this point, as we get closer to the midterms, we need people to be talking about these candidates, and I need you to talk about them in an optimistic way. It's the truth that these races are in play. The Democrats can actually absolutely win them because the momentum and the hatred of Trump right now is so significant, so strong. If there was ever a time, and if there will ever be a time, it will be in November of this year. Please, whether it's reposting or writing your own post or commenting on someone else's post, and then just having like an actual conversation. If you don't see somebody, like, I don't mean necessarily face to face, you can do it in text, but just somebody that you know, like say, oh, I learned about this candidate who's doing this really cool thing. Amazing. Or like he said, call me senator. Like that's great. Show them that clip and talk about that. That's awesome.
And also, this is your weekly reminder to make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you remind people that they're registered to vote. Take nothing for granted. We hear all the time about them trying to fuck with the voter rolls and all that shit. So just make sure, especially if you live in a red or purple state.
Yes.
So,
and see something, say something. If you see anything or hear anything locally, or it just spread it around. Like now is the time. Like it err on the side of caution, communicate with people. We're going to do a special on that kind of thing. But for now, like just keep your phones open and recording.
And check your family's voter registration too.
Oh, that's a good point.
A lot of people don't, and your friends too. Might as well just, while you're checking yourself, everybody you know there's a Democrat. Because there are people that actually, they make it their hobby to send little postcards out in certain states to check to see, are you still living here? And if you don't return these postcards, then they take you off the voter rolls. And so in like Texas a couple of years ago, they like took 1 million people off of the voting rolls.
Yeah.
So this is like serious. Don't like overlook this. Actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very
That's
good
a good reminder.
Well, y'all, it is, what time is it? It's
we did it.
9.
It's midnight. It's still over 90 minutes, but we did it such a better job.
It's not 3 hours.
Tonight, y'all.
It's not 3 hours. It's 2 hours.
We really kept it. We really kept it down.
All right, y'all. It's been fun. We'll see you next Thursday. Have a nice night. Have a good weekend.